You will hear a conversation between a woman and the receptionist of the Somerton Childcare Centre. Now, answer all questions from 1 to 10.
Good morning. You've reached Somerton Childcare Centre. This is Sarah speaking. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Sarah. I'm planning to visit your center with my children next weekend, and I'd like to get some information about your facilities and activities.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. First, let me give you our location. We're on North Hill, right opposite the supermarket. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. That's our old location. We're now opposite the toy factory, just down the road.
Got it. Is parking available there?
Absolutely. There's plenty of parking available, both in front of the center and in the overflow lot around the corner. You'll find it much easier than the old location, which had limited space.
That's a relief. What about entry fees?
Entry is actually free for everyone, and to make it even better, adults receive a complimentary drink. Some people think it's only coffee, but we offer tea, water, and even juice as options.
That's generous. Are there any new features or attractions at your center?
Oh yes, we've added a lot recently. There's a large slide, which we call the Wildcat. It's quite popular. It's bigger and steeper than our older slides, so it's a real hit. Then, we've introduced a mini golf area for children, complete with 5 themed courses.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Are there any other play areas?
Well, we still have the jungle gym and the arts and crafts corner, but those aren't new. There's also a sand pit, but it's currently under renovation. The slide and the golf courses are the main attractions we're highlighting this year.
Great. Are there any special requirements for kids who want to participate?
Yes, there are a few. First, all children must wear trousers. This is mainly for safety during activities like sliding or climbing. Shorts just aren't suitable.
Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, and every child must also wear socks. This is particularly important for the indoor play zones, as we don't allow barefoot play for hygiene reasons.
Got it. Anything else we need to prepare?
Yes, you'll need to bring a label with each child's name on it. We can provide labels at the center if you forget, but it's easier if you come prepared.
Sure, I can manage that. By the way, I'm also thinking of organizing a birthday party for my son. Do you have any packages for that?
Absolutely. Our birthday party packages are very popular. To book a party, you'll need at least 8 children. That's the minimum number of participants.
And what's included in the package?
The basic package includes food, drinks, and decorations. You can also add optional extras, like a cake or entertainment, say, a magician or a clown, for an additional fee.
That sounds nice. Do you cater for dietary restrictions?
Yes, we do. We have vegetarian and gluten-free options, and we can customize the menu further if needed. Just let us know in advance so we can make the necessary arrangements.
Perfect. Are there any discounts if we book early?
Actually, yes. If you book at least 2 weeks in advance, you'll get a 10% discount on the total package price. That applies to all parties booked for weekends.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for the detailed information.
You're welcome. Feel free to call back if you have any more questions, or you can visit our website for more details.
Will do. Thanks again.
That is
Now
the end
turn to
of
section
part
2.
1.
Section 2. You will hear a tour guide introducing a resort called Mangrove Tree. First, you'll have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
Welcome to all of you. Can everybody see and hear me? Good. I'm David, your guide for this tour of the Mangrove Tree Resort. I'll start today with some general background information. As there have been a number of changes made, I printed the map of the new complex for each of you, and I'd just like to point out where everything is, and then you can take a look at it for yourself. Basically, the best feature of our new location is that we have our own private beach, which is on the left and accessible directly from the hotel. Now we're standing at the information desk, and we're going to look at the views in each direction. Out to the west, there's a gift shop where guests can shop for small trinkets made by local villagers from shells and starfish. If you look carefully up there, on the other side of the restaurant, there's a state-of-the-art spa facility just next to the grove of palm trees, where guests can have treatments including massage or detoxify their body in the steam room. A major drawback of our previous hotel complex was that there was no room for an on-site helicopter port, which meant that our most important guests were forced to commute from the local airport. As we were unable to construct a suitable facility on the eastern side, we have constructed a large heliport to the north. Guests wishing to stretch their legs after a long flight can simply head south to the tennis courts for a match on our splendidly manicured courts. Now, if you look in front of you, there's a swimming pool in the centre equipped with slides and a diving board, which is the main feature of the new complex, and is overlooked by all of the other buildings. We have decided to maintain the family-friendly status of our original hotel. However, from guest service, we have come to realise that parents also enjoy time to relax without having to look after their children. Therefore, we have constructed a fun play centre where parents can leave their children with a trained childminder and take some time for themselves. This facility is located just to the north of the swimming pool and is covered with a small canopy to protect the children from the sun. Many of our working guests will require access to a quiet space for work. If you direct them just south of the swimming pool, they will discover our conference centre, which comes complete with meeting rooms, offices and Wi-Fi access. In order to access the Wi-Fi network, they should simply report to the information desk, where an assistant will provide them with a personal password. This desk is situated just between the conference centre and the beach. Finally, the complex also contains a large sports centre where guests can enjoy our gym facilities and take part in sessions for yoga and pilates. Overlooking the swimming pool from the southeast, the centre offers stunning views of the entire complex and across the ocean.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 18 to 20.
Next, I would like to discuss our new restaurant, which is run by the award-winning chef Alberto Brava. Every week he will offer a new menu of fresh seafood, such as crab and sea bass, which has been caught that day by local fishermen. The daily menu will include a range of organic meats and vegetables freshly grilled on the barbecue, served with a selection of specially prepared sauces and spices. There is no menu specifically for vegetarians. However, there will be a large range of grilled vegetables for them to choose. The hotel now has a selection of sweets to cater to our more discerning guests and provide for special occasions. As these sweets are finely decorated with furniture and paintings, they are not suitable for families with children. Our Tiki sweet is the finest of them all. It is slightly too ornate for business people, but would be perfect for couples on their honeymoon who may even have been married in the hotel. Finally, I would like to share some exciting news. Our hotel has won awards in the past for its fantastic service. However, we have just won the prestigious Green Award for our efforts in reducing our carbon footprint. The award will be proudly displayed in the restaurant facility, where it can be admired by our guests and staff alike. Well, here we are back at our starting point, the information desk.
That is the end of section 2. You now have
Part
half a
3.
minute to check your answer.
You will hear a discussion between two students about taking a course to become a personal support worker. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Becky, hi. What are you doing here at the college?
Hi, Jason. Just using the library. What about you?
I'm taking the PSW program. You know, personal support worker.
You're kidding. I've just qualified as a PSW.
Really? I'd love to talk to you about the program.
Okay. Well, first off, the main duties they taught me here were exactly what I needed on the job.
You mean like bathing and dressing people?
Yes, young and old need this. You'll work with people of all ages, from young people with disabilities to seniors. But, you know, nothing really prepares you for how alone many people are. They crave conversation. And I don't mind chatting with them while I work, though that's not officially in my job description.
I think I'd like to focus on seniors' care. And with the country's older population growing, maybe I'll get a job fast. Do we have to be responsible for any medications?
No, that's not for us to do. And while you will prepare meals, you won't feed people. But working to keep clients healthy and able to live on their own without risk as long as possible is always the goal. And we're recognizing that with lifespans increasing, long-term care facilities won't be able to keep up with the number of people who will need care.
I almost didn't meet the requirements for entry into the PSW program. I was one course short getting my high school diploma, so I had to go back to summer school. I took science because I'm no good at math. Oh, and speaking of not getting in, having my first aid certificate was a real piece of luck. I would have been turned down without that, too.
And I would have had a problem with immunizations, except that I traveled the year before, and when the doctor checked my records, they were up to date. I also had to hand in a written essay on why I wanted to be a PSW.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
So, Becky, what did you think about the courses you had to take in the personal support worker program?
Well, I used to think I got my points across pretty well with people until I took the Understanding is Essential course. For starters, it taught me how to express myself much more effectively. I also learned a lot about preparing clear reports for my supervisors and dealing in a better way with people in general. You know, like giving facts without personal views. You'll find that you need those skills every single day.
I'm enjoying the Foundations course. I'm taking it now and I'm getting a lot out of it. Because support workers are a newer level of care in the province, I think we absolutely have to understand how we fit into the overall system. It's a great place to voice your opinions freely. Some are quite personal. Did you have to take a course called The Way We Work? I didn't know psychology was part of the program.
That course was a favorite of mine. But it's probably not what you're thinking, Jason. It's about what happens on the inside of the body and covers the functions that keep our bodies operating well. Even if you're not a PSW, the course is really interesting. I learned so much.
What do you think about residence care? I know the thinking now is that long-term care facilities aren't the answer for our aging population.
Right. And so this course zeroes in on the changes people can make to their homes so they can stay there, like installing higher toilets, for example. You'll also learn about specialized equipment people can get to help themselves, safety bars for the shower and so on.
Do any of the courses focus on the families of our clients? After all, any kind of illness or disability affects everybody.
So true. And yes, there is one. It's called Dynamics. You usually get that in your last term. You'll learn different strategies to help relieve some of the anxiety and strain that happens within the family. I got a lot out of that course. It's the only one that focuses on emotions rather than facts. I think giving people this kind of help is just as valuable as any kind of expensive equipment they buy to help themselves.
The course I'm really looking forward to is The Power Within.
Oh, it's terrific. Getting old has quite an impact on the mind, as you know, but you'll be taught ways to help clients keep the mind active so they're not so forgetful. You'd be surprised how much improvement you can see in clients when you apply these methods.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 3.
Part 4. You will hear part of a lecture for history students about a relic in Turin, a town in southern France. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
OK, in this lecture we are going to learn the history of Turin, which is a county in southern part of France. We will also be looking at some archaeological findings as they are the basis of what we know today. The history of this area can date back to 2,500 years ago. In the earliest years there were just small settlements where people lived a very simple life. Slowly, the place grew into a town and became livelier, and business activities began to emerge. According to Peter Rocher, a French archaeologist, this place was an important agricultural county since a long time ago. In his findings, there were buried pieces of grain and broken utensils, which were the evidence of ancient Romans who traded their pottery for grains with people in Turin. This also proves that the business activities were quite active in this area back then. However, it is something else that gave us a much better idea of what life was like in Turin about 2,000 years ago. In the 1500s, a Frenchman found what seemed to be the remains of a castle when he was digging a well. There were bricks and stones that looked like part of a building. In the 17th century, a group of British archaeologists came to Turin to study the relics. Later, Swedish government also sent a team of archaeologists. The two teams did a thorough survey of the whole area together. It was hard work, which took them several months to dig out the ruins of old buildings and recover the area to what it originally looked like. The outcome of their work was surprising for all of them. It was a very big area of buildings and facilities for different purposes, which was a very good proof that a civilization existed from so long ago. In the northeastern part of the area, archaeologists found signs of a local market. There were stone stands that sellers used to place their commodities, and they even found silver coins, which were the currency back then. It further proved that the business was flourishing in ancient Turin. About 1 mile to the east, in the eastern part of that region, archaeologists found the remains of a building. From the words on a stone, they knew the building was called Cast. It looked like an old workshop, and archaeologists found tools for making textiles. It was a very important evidence that this industry was established about more than 2,000 years ago, which was situated in the central area, was a big round building where there was something like a fountain. The team found buckets near it. This showed that it had been the place where people collected water. We could imagine the scene that dozens of people were standing by this fountain with buckets in their hands. What surprised the archaeologists most was that there was an ancient theatre in the northeastern part. There was a stage and several stone seats uncovered. Right next to the theatre, archaeologists unearthed a long stone. Then more stones were found, and they extended across a deeper area. From this, we could conclude that these stones were from an old bridge on the river. Architects were very skilled back then. They used their wisdom to conquer technical obstacles. But people used their wisdom much more than Millie for practical purposes. In the southwestern area, what seemed to be like a garden was uncovered. There were pots and wooden basins. It must have been a very beautiful place, full of plants and flowers of different colours. More importantly, there were 2 statues of lions just beside the gate. It means French people admired the power of this beast at that time, so that they used stones to make these statues. Not far from Dolby House, also in the central area, there was an elevated area, but its lower area in the centre. Through a lot of careful research, archaeologists came to the conclusion that this was a Roman bath. It's where rich people went to enjoy a comfortable and relaxing hot bath. Next to the bath, there was a sculpture of a woman who was like pouring water into the bath. Across from it, on the other side of the bath pool, people can see the sculpture of the Roman emperor who ruled this area for many years. These discoveries are good material for us to study the history of Turin and southern France. What we're going to do now is...
That is the end of part 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.